Come up again. So you've heard a little bit about Nexus and SSI Learning. I'm going to elaborate a bit further on those areas, those platforms, and also how they're actually used in ShipConstructor. So I'll cover SSI Nexus, SSI Learning, and a little bit more about our wish list and how those are useful to you. This is all about empowering you guys to do your work. Our goals with SSI Nexus, SSI Learning, and the wish list is really successful clients. We're succeeding when you're succeeding, of course. Our global subscriber community. One of the big challenges for us, we put out 4 releases a year. So most of our clients don't upgrade 4 times a year. And they're not even paying attention to the upgrades necessarily unless there's something particular release that compels them. So having the current knowledge of what you can do with our product and get the most out of it is a challenge for us to get you guys to be aware of. Really, the kind of things we're constantly working on is streamlining, improving efficiencies, removing obstacles to accomplish tasks, all of that. That's our goals. How to get you guys to be aware of what you need. You're working in a certain area and you can take advantage of something. So that's what all of these things are about. My team and the company really provide professional assistance and guidance to the global SSI community, solving any challenges you might have. Remove those challenges. So we have Nexus, SSI Learning, and the wish list. These all are part of the same ecosystem. I'll start with Nexus. Why do we call it Nexus? That's where everybody comes together. The users, the creators, and the implementers. This really is meant to be a converging point where we all work together to solve problems, understand and solve those problems. The benefit of that is you get a lot of best practices, industry trends, tackle all those common problems, and tackle the unique problems. And shipbuilding is an interesting industry in that while there's commonalities, there's also every operation is unique. We can learn, share, solve, and influence each other to be better. Nexus was actually launched just in 2016. Seems longer. It's only been 3 years. But it's been a very, very fertile ground for activities. We've seen a lot of growth in it. It's not the same as it was originally, although it looks very similar. There's a lot more content. Just going to highlight 4 specific areas that you've already touched upon a little bit. We've got our community, our downloads, the SSI Learning, and the wish list, or roadmap, sorry. The community area, that's probably the most vibrant area, I'd say. That's where the experts really engage a lot, really solving problems. If you have a question about how to solve a problem, that is a great place to go. Initially, when we first set it up, we were kind of driving the conversations, but that was never our goal. We want the community talking, and we'll contribute when it's needed. And we're really seeing a lot of that happening now, where people are putting up questions, and they come up with 3 different ways to solve it. It's a great platform, and there's different ways to solve problems. Of course, we put all our release videos there, and on YouTube, as you heard. But the discussions is a very popular area. The downloads area, well, that's where every software release we've released, I think 2016 and up. So 4 releases a year for all those years. It's all available there depending on the projects you need. You might need an older version to upgrade to a newer version project. The manuals are there, although it stalls with the product. Release notes are there in SBAL, and the training project. I'll talk a bit more about the training project because it's a pretty useful piece of the equation. And SSI Learning, talk a bit more. That's where the knowledge, it's really the umbrella about everything of learning our product. It's the knowledge-based articles, the instructional videos, and we like to do lots of those. We put those out a lot. The training curriculum PDFs, and the My Learning stuff. We also have videos. And then we talked about the videos on Nexus. My Learning it's over 1,000 videos in that area. So really how-to instructionals. And finally, the wish list really relates to somewhat to our roadmap. We have our longer-term strategic roadmap, and then we have our client-driven requests. This all ties together with the search functionality on the site. So when you do a search on the site, it scans all of these areas, which relates to our ShipConstructor help. We talk to our clients, how do you learn how to use the software? I talk to the guy next to me. He knows more than I do, and he's going to solve my problem. How do you know he knows everything he needs to know? So we integrated this into ShipConstructor help. So when you say contextual help, or we got a search box, it searches all of Nexus. So all of the videos, all of the articles, all the discussions can be part of that response, and you can filter down from there depending on where you want to go. So we're making it really easy to discover our stuff while they do their work. So it's really important and helpful if it's connected to our system. It does baffle people a little bit at first with the AND logic, because Google is an OR logic, and everybody's familiar with searching on Google. The more keywords you put in there, it narrows your search. So it's better to start with a short list and then expand from there to refine. So just a little tip on how it works. The community is very active, 250,000 page views. We've got sort of the areas that get visited. The discussions is probably our most visited area, followed by downloads. That's good. That means people are upgrading. Our knowledge base articles are being consumed, the videos, and we're really seeing the wish list coming on strong over the last year. So it's our newer version of it. And that's really intended to be a real client-driven space. It's fully transparent. Previously, we would get requests from all sorts of directions. This is an area where everybody can see how the requests are coming in relative to each other. I'll talk a bit more later. It's always growing. The content is changing. Every day there's a discussion. Every day, every week there's new articles, and there's videos at least every quarter. So it's a vibrant space that's constantly being contributed to. We had some numbers. Don't have to go through them all. But those are the areas where we see consumption, and we're really happy to see that. We'd like to see more of that consumption. The idea is when you need our help and you need to send a support ticket, it's probably because none of the answer wasn't here. And if it's something that we can translate into another article for somebody else to answer, we'll put it in there. So that's where the inspiration for a lot of our articles comes from, or our new products, but also where are people having trouble with. That sounds like something we should write an article about and clarify how to go about doing that. SSI Learning, our mission is really to help you guys get the most out of it in your skills development. And we're trying to deliver how to learn in very different ways, in all the different ways you can imagine. So we really want to provide a bridge with continuous learning and innovation so that you're able to learn all the time, stay abreast of what's happening in a lightweight fashion. It's like there's always a little bit, and then when you see something that really interests what your company needs to learn more about or wants to improve, then you can drill down and find out more details. Of course, the whole idea is help our clients be successful, competitive, and inform you so you can understand what our products' capabilities are. Provide options for learning, which I'll elaborate on. See kind of two ways that we've offered to get the most out of it. Of course, there's a certification pathway. So we've got quite an extensive library of training curriculum, but we offer that in different ways. Most of it's designed so you can just follow it yourself, self-paced. You can download everything you need and don't need anybody, and you can just go through it and learn how the functionality works. But we also have clients who much prefer classroom scenarios. and our resellers are also using that as a curriculum. So previously, every reseller might have done something a little bit different. Now we have a structured common baseline they can teach, and they can elaborate from there if they need be. And it's all accessible remotely. And then also, it's part of our reference database. So all our help, so you can get access to it, the articles, the community. So you've got the extremes of either on your own, self-paced, or while you work, all the way to a classroom scenario to get certified. So maybe you've got one guru in your office, and that guy is going to be the resource for the others. We'd rather you were all taking the curriculum and doing all the training, but at least we want to see that. We've actually got 25 certified curriculum now, covering all our product areas. And we're constantly updating. Every time there are classroom sessions, every time we get feedback, this instruction wasn't clear, this could be better, we make the changes, usually within 48 hours. We try to keep it absolutely current. There's hundreds of narrated videos, so you don't require those videos to go through the curriculum, but if you get stuck, they're really helpful, in particular. The training project is a big part of this. All the curriculum are based around our training project. So it has the basics, and you go from there. One of the cool things about our training project, even if you're not doing training, is you don't need a license when you're looking at the training project. So when we put out a new product, a new feature, new functionality, you don't happen to have a license for that, it's not a problem. You can go explore that feature, that new product, with the training license or training project. We keep that up to date. So every release, there's a new training project that's compatible with the new training curriculum. The training curriculum might be a couple of weeks between the actual release and when our training curriculum are updated, but we try to keep them very close together so it's completely current. Just some examples. We cranked out over 2,000 individual certifications. Not surprising. You can see where the courses are. ShipConstructor Essentials is our prerequisite to everything. We haven't heard anybody go through it who didn't learn something, really. So, the last time a lot of people did training might have been years ago. Something's a little bit different now. There's a new way to do something. So even if you're not going for certified training, these really get you up to speed. 166 companies in that. So what we're seeing is at least a lot of our companies or clients are at least sending at least somebody's going through that stuff. So at least they have somebody in-house who's more current on the new products. So we're really trying to make this so it's easy to learn while you work. You've got a day job. Your day job's not learning software. It's doing the work with the software. We're trying to make it easy to learn how to use the software when you want to do something new. It's great for new hires. This is the things we get them up to speed, get them through some training curriculum, add on top of that whatever is unique about your organization in terms of what they need to learn. Of course, get those engineering leaders and gurus to go through that. So at least you have some people in-house who are current. 4 releases a year, every release has new features, every release. In-house training initiatives, so that if you can absorb that into your own in-house curriculum if you have them. One of our latest additions was Project Zero. The idea of this was really to focus uniquely on new clients or new hires of our clients. So it's the first time using ShipConstructor. Really want to get the basics, the fundamentals. Our training curriculum is fairly advanced, although there's lots of room for higher advanced, but it goes through the basics. So this is starting even more basic. So we created this. There's 10 parts. It really walks you how to create a project, just starting at the basics and going all the way up into creating a model. And we just make a simple little boat. But it's just like learning to sail. A small dinghy has all the fundamentals. You learn everything you need to know about sailing. With a small boat, same thing here. You go through this and you touch upon all the key parts and how to do it. Of course, there's no piping in this one. Yeah. Finally, we have our wish list. So over the years, managing and client success in particular, it's a real challenge managing feature requests. As a company, we get them from all directions. Go talk to Dennis, talk to some of the developers individually, put them in a ticket. So it was quite a complex ecosystem. It was really hard to manage, but more importantly, not visible, not transparent. We get tons of great ideas every day. Which ones are the right ideas to work on? So we're always guessing, is this the right thing to work on? Does this feature respond? Are clients really worried about that? And so what we see, we want to develop an ecosystem with the wish list to get a better sense of who's interested, what do they want? Is it popular? Has this got a broad appeal or has it got a very narrow appeal? So we wanted a real clear channel. Client channel, so if we get them from other ways, get it on the wish list. Either you write it, get your reseller, somebody put it on the wish list and describe it there. What we want to see as well is there's a lot of discussion. Every wish needs clarification. Is what are you trying to solve here? So often people will jump to the solution without describing the problem. What's the problem you want to solve? And that's where every wish list has a discussion area, and we can discuss that there publicly. There's also the product owners can discuss internally on each wish list. You don't see that, but we can go, oh, this looks like this or that, so we can have a discussion on the actual wish list. Really helps us to gather and refine the requirements. We see things happening in the community discussions. This is a great discussion. This looks like something, we've got 10 different clients talking about this, and they've all got a different solution. We've got to figure this one out. This looks like there's a real need out there. So we get it over here onto the wish list, and we start to solidify into a solution, something that we can implement. It allows them to weigh in on it, so you can vote. We can see who voted. It's not just a count. We can see exactly who's voted. We can see how many companies have voted for that. So we can get a sense of, well, that appeals to small companies, this appeals to big companies, this appeals to everyone, this kind of thing. So we get to be able to see that. It really helps us assess how valuable a feature might be. And really provides us greater context to the whole request. Previously, we get a request, and we'll have some conversations, but it wasn't visible to the market. So this is much more visible. So as more of you get on board with this, and we're seeing that growth, this becomes more and more valuable. So it's really, it's ours collectively to help us succeed by going to this and contributing to it. It's really easy. You got to get onto Nexus, which we know is not necessarily easy, the SharePoint. But once you're in, it's easy. You log into Nexus, you've got subscription, you've got access to the wish list. So only subscribers, only clients with subscription can get to the wish list. So we're not getting, somebody else talking to it. These are people using and breathing our product every day. You go there, you click on that, it logs you into the wish list. And you can see the full list. Okay. You get everything, you can contribute, and of course, you can attach photos, whatever, like the idea. In the last slide, you got a new wish. Great, there's a nice form there. We can't emphasize this enough. Describe the problem you're solving, not the solution. Help us understand the problem. And you can contribute to your thoughts on the solution, but it might be a little bit different once we understand what the problem is. There might be a different way to solve it that we can implement. And anything in the background that helps us understand the full context of that problem, is it saving you time? Is this a competitive thing? What is it that it's solving? What's the problem that you're really trying to solve with that wish? And its intended benefits. We've got over 300 wish list items up there. 70 have been implemented. And lately, we've been seeing more and more. That was 40, and I wrote that a couple of weeks ago. It's probably 50 or so. Like, we're getting wish list almost every day. So, and we're seeing people voting. So if you haven't been doing it, I think you want to go take a look. You might enjoy it, actually. It's inspiring. That's all.